We go out and we struggle, it has nothing to do with playing meaningless reps in the preseason. I really believe that. It's not, you're not facing a ton of game-like situations in the preseason. If we go out and light it up, it's not because we rested in the preseason. Our performance will be based on our preparation this week, our experience, and the way that we execute on the field. It's about execution in an intense environment, first game of the year, and we'll be ready to play, and we hope we can execute against a really good defense.
That is an focused but also unbothered Aaron Rodgers right there. He's not worried about preseason games. He says he gets more out of preseason practice, if anything. The 2010 Super Bowl champ, the Super Bowl MVP, two-time league MVP, and seven-time Pro Bowler didn't play a single preseason game. And while he has the experience, there is some concern that he may not have the familiarity with new head coach Matt LaFleur's new system. Marcus, was it a mistake for Rodgers not to have played this preseason?
Yep. And the reason being is not because Aaron Rodgers is not one of the greatest to ever play the position. Everybody is under this misnomer that Aaron Rodgers needs reps in order to be a good quarterback. That's not what this is about. This is about communication. It's about working out the little things that take effect during the football season between a coach calling plays and a quarterback out there executing them, and whether in these tight crunch time situations. Look, the third preseason game when I was playing in the league was always the one where you get ones-on-ones for about 2 to 3 possessions or even a half, where you can work out little kinks and get game-like situation going into the season. I understand what Aaron Rodgers is saying because Aaron Rodgers has done this at a higher level than most players ever will do it. He's one of the greatest to ever play the position. With that being said, I'm sure preferably Matt LaFleur would have loved to be able to communicate some of those things, see how Aaron Rodgers sees defenses, see how he reacts and responds in certain game time and game-like situations, just like Aaron Rodgers would like to hear Matt LaFleur's voice during a game situation. I just don't think it's good for it to be the first time against a team like they're facing with this type of defense. But people will give him a pass because it's Aaron Rodgers and he can do all these things and he can improv and do all of the great things. Look, he was with a coach for 8 years and they couldn't communicate effectively enough to keep the coach his job and play well on the field. So absolutely, they should have at least gave themselves some reps during the preseason just to get communication, if nothing else.
So what, he's going to play like a series or two? Because that's really what amounts to, the guys in Aaron Rodgers' stature, they only play like a couple series. So I agree with Aaron Rodgers wholeheartedly. And it goes to a bigger point as far as the preseason is concerned. Marcus, you and I both know we're seeing more and more players playing less in the preseason. Why? Because there's a bigger emphasis on these joint practices. These coaches get to control the environment. They get to script things out a lot better. So when Aaron Rodgers is talking about, getting more work in the practices, that's exactly what he's talking about. Listen, when we get to the regular season, a lot of these teams, that's the extension of the preseason because these guys aren't playing full games. They're still working themselves into shape. So I don't think that playing a series or two, if you're Aaron Rodgers, who's been in almost any type of offense, knows all the different verbiage that comes with playing from that position, a couple series in the preseason is not going to really do Aaron Rodgers any good because he's getting all the work he needs to do, whether it be practice or joint practices against other teams.
Maybe not, Wood. Can we agree that it might have did Matt LaFleur some good?
Matt LaFleur, listen, he's getting – why does he need it with Aaron Rodgers?
Because he is quarterback, Wood. Because he's the starting quarterback, and they're in a new offense.
Marcus, what are the specific things a coach and the quarterback need to get on the same page with during the preseason games or practice?
The specific things are game-like situations, Roz, what may arise, what type of communication. How does Aaron Rodgers like to be communicated to when things are happening on the football field? If Matt LaFleur is going to try to implement what type of offense he wants, and if he's going to build this thing around Aaron Rodgers and try to incorporate some of his stuff, you would like to at least know how that communication, how it translates to on the field, how does it translate to the other 10 guys with these guys effectively communicating. Look, this ain't about Matt LaFleur's relationship with Aaron Rodgers and if Aaron Rodgers is going to listen to Matt LaFleur. I think they'll be fine. They'll work that out. Both of these guys are professionals. But if you're going to tell me that a head coach coming into a new situation with a Hall of Fame type quarterback doesn't need to know how to effectively communicate with him when live bullets are flying in a football game, which is usually the third preseason game, that it doesn't affect you when you go out the first week of the season and you play against who they're playing against?
But here's my thing, Marcus. You and I both know with a lot of these veteran quarterbacks, especially a guy like Aaron Rodgers who's in his 15th year, how many reps, how many series are a guy like Aaron Rodgers or some of these other established veterans going to play in the preseason? And I go back to like the joint practices. The joint practices are basically overtaking what these preseason games are all about right now, because again, the coaches get to control the environment as far as communication. They can get to certain situations that Aaron Rodgers might not even see in the preseason because he's not even getting enough snaps to get to those certain situations.
What I'm telling you, you keep talking about these joint practices. What I'm telling you is you can't control the preseason environment. You need to know how to communicate in that environment. You and I both know, especially in the trenches, we come out there before practice and we cut a deal about how hard we gonna go. We did that plenty. We definitely gonna sign the contract if we in the 10th or 11th day of preseason of camp. But when you think about when these guys are doing these joint practice, look, I'm the biggest proponent in the world for the preseason being not completely out. But if they want to take it to 2 games, I think that's more effectively. But with that being said, man, this is a different situation. This is a brand new head coach, man. Aaron Rodgers had the same head coach for the last 8 years.
But my whole point is, how many reps is Aaron Rodgers even going to get in the preseason? We're seeing quarterbacks that's not even playing in the preseason. You're talking about one of the greatest quarterbacks of our generation. How are you going to really put him out there with the chance of him getting injured in the preseason? Right now, we're just not going to see it. You're seeing more and more teams saying, you know what? Whether it's Julio Jones or a lot of these star players, these teams are saying, we don't even want to risk it. We want to keep our guys healthy to get to week 1.
Damian, I want to speak to your experience on the O-line. I mean, would you, even if it was Aaron Rodgers, if there was a new head coach and a new system and you were his O-line, would you like some time? What would you need from him during this time just before the season starts?
I'm getting all the reps in practice. I'm getting all the reps in practice.
Practice not the same. It's not the same.
What can you accomplish with your quarterback in practice, Damian?
What can you accomplish
in the preseason versus the games for you working with them?
Because we're working all the situations in the practice. Listen, the only thing that happens in the preseason, to be honest with you, is the sideline procedures and all those type of things. To me, that's like the most important thing as far as the preseason is concerned. Everything else I can work. We can work out in practice.
You can't control, dude, the variables throughout a game. You can't control them. You need to be in that situation. Listen, did Tom Brady play in the preseason?
I don't even know. If he did, it was.
Yes, he did. He been with the same coordinator, been with the same franchise. It's different, bro. Look, Ryan Clark and I had this knockdown drag out on NFL Live a couple weeks ago when I said Le'Veon Bell needed reps because he'd been away from the game. Ryan was like, he don't need no reps. He don't fumble the ball. He run the ball. You know what Le'Veon said the next week? man, I need to go out there and feel like what it feels like to get hit. I need to get some reps with this team. It's the variables that you don't know of why Aaron Rodgers probably should have got a few reps during the preseason between him and Matt LaFleur being a new coach. It's what you don't know. It's not what you know at practice and what's scripted, and we know what defense they going to be in. Ain't nobody dialing up no blitz to knock your quarterback out in practice. They doing it in a preseason game. We need to see if he can adjust in those situations. All right, I'm sorry, Rob.
So you want to put your quarterback in that predicament where
I
he's
don't
exposed?
want to put him in that predicament.
Is that what you want? Is that what you want?
I don't want.
All right,
I don't want
guys.
him to see that predicament the first play of the season.
At least we got to the season.
All right, guys, we gotta go. We gotta go. A wise man once said, "Practice." We talking about practice. All right, more First Take to come. What do these guys make of the Dolphins' fire sale, and should the players be upset? And how much can Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs expect from Shady McCoy this season? One of these guys says not a whole lot. We'll debate it